students, welcome back to the channel after a long gap. Now exams are approaching and a lot of you are approaching me asking for tips on how to do good in examination. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 40 plus tips which you can follow to do good in your examination, not this one, but even for the upcoming examinations. As a student, I think there is no end to examinations in our life, right? You will be appearing for entrance examination to get into a law school or a law college. After that, you will be appearing for all the semester examinations, all the internal examinations, all the assignments, presentations, and once you are done with all of that, you got your degree, you need to appear for examination to get the license, and then this process continues. So whatever tips I'm going to share today, these are mostly focused on your semester examinations. But even if you are preparing for AIBE or some other exams, maybe for entrance examination for post-graduation LLM, these tips will be helpful for you. So without any more waiting, let's begin with the video. All the tips that we have for this video are divided in 3 groups. One is before examination, what all things you can do before examination, what all things you can do during examination, and what all things you can do after the exam is over. Because as I mentioned, as a student, exam is something which is like a part and parcel of our life. There is no end to examination, trust me. So all these tips will be divided in 3 groups: before, during, and after examination. Now let's first of all start with before examination. What is it that you can do even before your exam starts? And a lot of you in fact fall under this category because your exams are going to start in another couple of weeks. The first tip is plan your study schedule properly. We all have limited time with us and we need to prepare so much for examination. So you just make a study timetable for yourself so that you know that okay, you have maybe 5 or 6 subjects in this particular semester, and maybe these are the portions which you need to yet start to study. Might be out of 4 units you have already studied 1 or 2 and 3 or 4 units are remaining. So based on where you stand right at this moment, what all you have studied and how much portion is left, you need to prepare a study timetable for yourself so that just before examination it did not happen that maybe 3-4 units are still left and you don't have time. While preparing your study timetable, also consider that there are going to be certain situations which should come. Maybe you are preparing for a study timetable today and next today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday there is Ganesh festival or some other festival might come, some relatives might come, so many distractions might be there. So consider that thing while you are preparing your study timetable. Some days you might not feel like studying, some days we might fall sick. You need to consider all of that. Do not keep a lot of portion towards the last few days. Try to complete as much of the syllabus as possible in the initial days itself. So first tip, plan your study timetable properly on time. Second tip, prioritize your subjects. In every semester we study some 3 to 6 subjects, and out of those 3 to 6 subjects, few subjects we find it very easy, few subjects we find it okay, few subjects we find it very hard. So you need to prioritize those subjects. Maybe there is a subject wherein there are too many sections, too many case laws are there, or maybe it's like a complicated subject which you find very difficult. Many students find taxation very difficult. Many find CRPC, IPC difficult. On the other hand, contracts, torts, a lot of us find these subjects easy. So whatever subjects you have in a given semester, focus on the tougher subjects more because you need to give more time in those subjects. So if possible, try to finish those tough subjects in the early days so that you still have time for revision and to just complete the syllabus. On the other hand, for subjects which are more easy, maybe torts, contracts, whatever you find easy, maybe within less time also you will be able to cover the portions, or maybe something which you already know or you have a basic understanding. So you can keep lesser time for the easy subjects and you need to prioritize the tougher subjects. Try to study those subjects first. Try to complete those portions first so that mentally also you have a peace that okay fine, this particular subject is done. Maybe CPC, it's done. Taxation, it's done. So mentally also there will be lesser pressure on you. Third thing is organizing your study materials. We do collect a lot of materials from everywhere. Maybe we buy books, we have barracks. From library we collect a lot of things. From college we get certain notes. From here and there, so many materials we accumulate. And just before examination we get confused what to study and what not. We have collected so many study materials that now we are all clueless. Do not put yourself in such a situation. Even if you have a lot of notes or you have collected a lot of study materials, try to segregate it. What is to be studied from which study material? Try to prepare it and try to arrange your study materials beforehand so that just before exam you are not wasting your time just looking at all the study materials that you have and figuring out what to study and what not. Fourthly, you need to use study aids. Now when I say study aids, it means the aids that will help you understand what is to be studied and what not. Like maybe question papers. Previous year question papers is a very good study aid. So what you can do is you can download few previous year question papers and that is going to give you an idea also on what all topics are being repeated quite often, what all topics are important, what kind of questions they are asking, and it will give you a proper guidance on in what direction you need to prepare for your exam. Next and the very important one is taking breaks. Yes, just relax. You don't need to study for like 12-18 hours in a day. Take adequate breaks in between every study session so that your mind is fresh and you are able to absorb more of the knowledge. Next tip is to understand your syllabus properly. Many students even do not know what a syllabus is. Let me tell you what is a syllabus. Sometimes you will get a list of subjects that you will study under a certain semester. There will be one page where 5 or 6 subjects will be listed. That is just a list of subjects. When we talk about syllabus, it will be the detailed syllabus wherein all the subtopics are given, what all things you need to study. So go through your syllabus properly, know what all topics are included for each of the subjects. Having an idea on the syllabus will also give you a direction on what is to be studied and what not. Next tip is practice time management. Yes, time management is such an important skill that you need, especially during examinations. So what you need to do is, you will be having limited time of around 3 hours to write your paper, to complete everything. So what you need to do beforehand only, you need to know what is your speed. Maybe you can try to follow certain tips to improve your writing speed. And you will have an idea that okay, this much I can write within 3 hours, and based on that you can decide on the length of each of the answers as well. That if there are 10 questions that I need to answer, maybe I will be able to write 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages, whatever it is. You should have an idea on what is your writing speed. Next tip is group study. Group studies might be very effective if you are making proper use of time and you are grouping with the proper kind of people. I still remember when I was doing my LLM, we used to, like, there were hardly some 8 to 9 students. We all used to go 3-4 hours prior to examination. We all will go to the hostel and we all will sit together and discuss all the topics that are there. So that discussion used to be so helpful. We all had ideas on what all things are there, what all we have studied. We used to share that knowledge as well. So group discussions might be a very effective way of understanding certain topics. Maybe if your college teacher is teaching you something, you are not able to understand anything. It just goes above your head. But if the same thing your classmate teaches you in a very easy way, you are just able to understand it. It happens with a lot of students. So if you are able to understand the teaching skills or the teaching ways of a certain person, you can try to follow that person, or you can try to form a study group and learn from those persons. The next tip is to seek clarification. There might be certain things which you find difficult to understand. Maybe how many cases should we write? Is it mandatory to include sections? Is it mandatory to write cases in this particular topic? How do I approach this particular answer? What would be the, like the framework of a particular answer? Or how many pages I need to write? So many questions are there within our mind. If you need any kind of clarification, feel free to reach out the correct people for that. Maybe you can approach your college teachers asking for all the clarification doubts that you have. Do not go to the examination hall with doubts and questions in your mind. Get them clarified beforehand only. And the last tip that I want to share, which you need to follow before examination, is to stay healthy. Yes, you need to go and appear for the examination, so just focus on your health as well. Not that you will study for 18 hours and you will go to the exam hall all sleep deprived and all tired and maybe sick. You need to concentrate on that also. Maybe prior to 1 month before examination, you cannot afford to fall sick. That is also one thing which you need to remember. Now let's move to the second category, which is during examination. What are the things that you need to concentrate during examination to do good? During those limited around 3 hours time, what all things you need to do so that you are able to do good in your examination? Now the first thing is read all the instructions properly. Depending on what examination you are appearing for, there will be a set of instructions given to you. If you are appearing for any entrance examination, they might say that, okay, fine, you need to mark the OMR sheets with black ball pen. You need to mark it properly without any space or without, like going here and there. If you are appearing for your semester examination, they might say that, okay, you need to write maybe 1,000 words for these marks question, or maybe you need to attempt 5 questions, any 5, or like this. So many instructions will be there. You need to read the instructions properly before the examination starts. The second tip is allocate your time wisely. You will have limited around 3 hours of time wherein you need to complete the entire question paper. So allocate time. Maybe for 10 marks, I can spend some 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Like that, you need to prepare a proper planning for yourself so that you are able to manage your time properly and you are also able to complete the entire question paper, because that is what ultimately matters. Next tip is plan your answers. All the questions will be framed in a different way. Sometimes they might ask, define this certain thing. What is the difference between this and this? Which section talks about this? Explain it with the help of cases. So you need to read the question properly and just plan your answer as well. Maybe for this particular question, I will invest 30 minutes of my time, and this is what all things or points I need to mention, or this is how I will approach with the answer. Planning it in your mind will also ensure that you are not like spending too much of time in one question and then you are left with no time to complete the entire question paper. Always remember, completing the entire question paper is more important rather than writing a lot more than what is necessary for one question, because you are never going to get full marks in law papers. So what you need to attempt is that you are able to finish off the entire question paper and you are able to write around the same length of answers. Not like for one you are writing 10 pages and for the remaining ones you are writing 1.5 page. You are going to lose out on your marks. So just try to remember that all the answers should be of around the same length. Based on your writing speed, you need to plan for that also. Next tip is be concise. If a certain question says this, you need to answer as per what the question is. You don't need to give a lot of unnecessary information just to fill pages. Your answer should be to the point based on what is being asked in the question. Try to read the question in between also. While you are writing the answer, maybe one page completed, go back, read the question again just to ensure you are at the right track. After finishing one more page, after finishing 2 pages, you can go back, read the question one more time also. No harm. But your answer should be based on what the question is. Next tip is using legal terminology. So there are a lot of legal terminologies that we read. Maybe certain Latin maxims we study while studying a certain concept. Try to give importance to that also. Try to mention those as well. Maybe you are writing vicarious liability under torts. What is vicarious liability? There is a question. While writing that, you can also explain the 2 Latin maxims based on which this entire concept is set. Right? Ret respondent superior, cui fecit per alium fecit per se. Like that you can mention the legal terminologies as well, wherever applicable, wherever you need to mention it or you feel the need to mention it, just make sure to mention that as well. Next is, whatever you are writing, you can support your arguments with sections or with relevant case laws or with maxims. And whenever you are doing it, you can even highlight those. Maybe you can underline those case laws, or you can underline those sections, you can underline those maxims, so that the examiner also will not miss out on it, right? While opening your answer sheet, they will know that, okay, this person has written these cases, this person has written these sections, right? Just in order to highlight that so that it's not missed out, you can also underline those important parts. Next, very important tip, manage your handwriting. Yes, when the handwriting is legible, we are able to understand it, we also feel like reading it, we also feel like checking the answer sheet. It's like when we say, right, the first impression is the last impression. Your first impression should be good. Same ways, your handwriting is like the first impression when we talk about an answer sheet. Even before reading what you have written inside, the first thing that will impress the examiner is neat, clean, organized handwriting. So just focus on that. Just be mindful of that. Next tip is to review and edit. Yes, it's not practically possible that you will read the entire answer sheet and you are going to review or make changes. You cannot like copy paste or cut paste or do anything like that, just like how we would do on a computer. But when I say review and edit, it would mean that, okay, just see that you have answered all the questions. You have marked the question numbers properly. Or maybe you have highlighted or you have underlined the case laws, the sections and all of that. So review and edit is also something which is very important. You are not wasting your time over there, but rather you are investing your time there. So do not ignore review and edit. Do take that seriously. And the last tip that you need to follow during examination is to stay calm and do not panic. Yes, if you stay calm, you will be able to recall all of the things that you have studied. You will be able to frame your answers properly. So even if you do not know answer to a certain question, maybe you have opened the question paper, first answer you do not know, second answer you do not know, third answer also you do not know. Fine, just be calm, see what you know. Might be there are certain things wherein like bits and pieces you will be able to frame the answer. Just be calm and try to read the question paper properly and just start answering. There are some people who find it easier that, okay, fine, first I will answer whatever questions I know. After that, I'm going to approach with the question wherein I have limited knowledge. There are other students who find it more easy that, okay, fine, first I'm going to attempt whatever I have limited knowledge. Whatever strategy works for you, you can decide accordingly whether you want to answer the hard questions first or the easy questions first. You can decide that for yourself. Now let's move ahead with the last category, that is after examination. Are there any tips that you can follow after your examination is over so that you are able to do better in your maybe upcoming examinations? Once your examination is over, what you can do is you can, like we all of us do that in fact, what we do is we take the question paper, we see how much marks we will or we should get in this particular answer, and we try to calculate that okay, maybe out of 100 I'm going to score maybe 70, 80, 60, whatever. You can do that as well, and you can try to figure out what went wrong in this examination. Is it that you gave too much of time in writing one answer and then few questions were ignored? What was it? What was the problem? Or what is the improvement area? What can you do better in the upcoming examination? It is always a good idea that after coming back from the exam hall, right, maybe within 1 or 2 days itself, you try to evaluate yourself. You try to see what went wrong or what you can improve in the upcoming examination. This is going to really help you. After examination, you can even seek feedback. If it is like an unit test or an internal examination, you can even go to the concerned teacher. Maybe you can show the answer sheet and you can ask the teacher itself, that teacher himself or herself, that how I should have written this particular question so that I would secure better marks. So always seek feedback from people who are in a position to give that to you. That is also another thing which is going to help you a lot. The next tip is that always try to improvise. Might be you had appeared for your internal examination and there were certain questions which were asked, and in fact you also feel that the answers that you have written are not proper or not up to the mark. So what you can do after your exams are over, you can try to frame those answers and you can try to see how I can improvise on it. This is going to help you in your semester examination. Nobody knows, that same question may be repeated in your semester exam also. So over there you are going to get the benefit or get the advantage. So these are certain tips that you can follow before examination, during examination and after examination to do good in your exams. Always remember, how well you do in your examination is not just dependent on your knowledge on a particular topic or a subject. It is a combination of your knowledge, critical thinking, and most importantly, time management. So be a good manager and do good in your examination. All the best from my side. Bye for now.